Hello, Lose Weight with Macros family. Welcome to a brand new episode of Lose Weight with Macros. And in today's episode, my friends, 5 things you need to do right now to lose weight this week is exactly for you. Hello, Lose Weight with Macros, the Basics Podcast family. I'm your host, Verona. And if you're new here, welcome to the show. I'm a nutrition coach who believes in the power of real life tools to create healthy habits. I help busy women like you get rid of the stress and emotional eating that keeps you from creating resilient, lifelong habits that, quite frankly, you can trust. Instead of giving you another boring diet or workout plan or bland salad and tell you just to eat a whole heap of salad leaves while your family chow down on your favorite meals in the corner and you are regretfully eating that bowl of dry salad, I'm gonna help you learn how to use macros to lose fat, keep it off, and rebuild that confidence that diets often strip us of. That insecurity, that fear, that no longer feeling confident in our bodies that we know we need to get rid of. Friends, if this sounds like your cup of tea, grab your tea, your coffee, and your notepad and pen, because today's episode, friends, is gonna be a juicy one. So, my friends, the dust is finally beginning to settle. You're preparing to get back to your routine, except there's one thing you can't quite get out of your mind: New Year's Eve. All the resolutions from last year's unmet weight loss goals come flooding in, and suddenly you're left with a tight knot of guilt for how you're going to lose weight now. The truth is, there's no magic pill or diet that will make you lose weight without having a healthy relationship with food, yourself, your mind, and, believe it or not, exercise. And that, my friends, is exactly why I'm here and why today's episode, 5 things you need to do right now to lose weight this week. Now, it's a familiar feeling. I've been there myself, and clients that I've worked with have been there all too often. This time of year, people are signing up at the gym. The gym is going to be more packed than ever. So gym regulars who know about the gym, you're going to have to adjust your time that you go to the gym, including myself, because I've got a set routine. But the gym is going to be ram-packed, at least for the month of January. But then when things settle, the dust settle, and February comes, how many of you are still going to be in that gym? No guilt here, but friends, this is something that I did when I was all the rage. Yeah, I'm going to the gym, I'm going to work out at home. You know, the sleep would hit me and I'm like, I'm not waking up tomorrow. Tomorrow came, tomorrow went, and I realized there was a whole week that went by. I did not move from my bed. The only movement that actually happened in my bed was turning over to actually get comfortable again and sleep for a little bit longer. So if you're like me, when it comes to this type of pattern that we have with ourselves, and we have this rationality, this thinking, you know what, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll start next week. This is the art of procrastination. Procrastination is knowing we need to do something, but we don't do it. And there's no point in feeling guilty about it. We've just got to accept this is where we're at now. What can I do to change it? Some of us are not ready to change it. Some of us don't want to. Some of us are not ready to accept that this is what we do. We procrastinate. Everybody does it. Even I do it. And we put it off for the longest time possible until it comes to the point where either your health is telling you need to fix up, or your family members are telling you, I'm concerned about your health. I'm concerned you're going down the same path as XYZ. You need to sort out your health. Now, I'm not going to pretend weight loss is not a big issue. I'm not going to pretend that also attached to it is confidence and a whole heap of insecurities. We can look on the outside as if we're good. We can hide behind baggy clothes, but deep down, we don't just have pain internally, we also have pain emotionally. Now, I was there for however many years of my life, over 20 years of my life, where I was addicted to food. There are some people who say there's no such thing as food addiction. Well, have you ever been addicted to food? I thought not. Now, if you haven't suffered with an addiction, then nobody can tell you that you have not been addicted to food. In fact, let's have a look at that. I haven't done this in a few episodes. So now, if you're new here, welcome to the show. I like to look up word meanings, not because I don't know the meanings, not because you don't know the meanings. It gives context to what I'm actually saying. So first of all, we're going to find out what the word addiction actually means, or actually, let's have a look at addicted. So the word addicted, according to the dictionary, actually means it's an adjective, compulsively committed or helplessly drawn to a practice or habit, or to something psychologically or physically habit forming, often used in combination, whatever that means. But the thesaurus for addicted means dependent, given over to, given to, prone to, and the rest are related to substance misuse. But if we look at dependent, how many of you are dependent on snacks, are dependent on ding dongs, yo-yos, ho-hos, whatever you want to call it, Skittles, M&Ms? How many of you are dependent on that particular food in times of emotional stress and stress that you cannot cope with? How many of you are dependent on a particular type of food or a combination of foods? Now, I know for me personally, when I was stressed at work, I was stressed about money, I was stressed about finances, Chinese food was the one for me. I don't know why, but MSG is not only used in Chinese food, but it's most commonly used as a flavor enhancer for that particular type of food, as well as soy sesame seed oil, as well as soy sauce. I've later on discovered that those ingredients, the three things that, in my opinion, make those foods the best tasting, those foods and ingredients I found that I was later intolerant to, and I actually had reactions to. But my time, because I was addicted to food and sugary substances or some sugary foods, I was dependent on having that and using that as a way for me to cope and escape those stresses. Now, we know if that method is what you use to overcome these stresses, and then we forget about them for a temporary moment. But the reality is, after the endorphin rush has gone from our minds and our neurological pathways, then we actually go back to the reality that the problem is still there, that we're still overweight, that we're still insecure about the way I look, that I don't feel confident to dress up with my husband because I know there are slimmer women in his workplace. I wonder what they're doing. Yeah, there are some women who are kind of fast, but sometimes you have to trust your husband. Now, I'm no relationship coach or dating coach or marriage expert. However, I am a nutrition coach and a behavior change mindset coach. So when we're working together, we're working on the psychology of why we get addicted to foods, why we get addicted to the substances of food, why we get addicted to yo-yo dieting. I'm equipping you with the tools that help you to navigate the psychological things and habits and mindsets that we get into. That's a game changer. Now, I don't want this to turn into a mindset episode because we're talking about the 5 things that you need to do to lose weight right now. So that was a long prelude. But my point here is that there are many things that we do and we get caught up in a way of eating, a way of doing, a way of being, a way of living, a way of thinking, and which then turns into a way of living. And we live that way and it becomes monotonous and it becomes a cycle, hence the term yo-yo cycle dieting. It repeats. We start, we stop, we stop, we start. And January is going to be a time where you are going to see millions of adverts. Now, I'm here the same. I'm encouraging you on my website, vanutritioncoaching.co.uk/diets, is where you can register your space for the Ditch the Dieting Yo-Yo Masterclass. Now, I've brought this back. This is something I did a couple years ago, and this was something that was led independently. This is a live masterclass that I'm going to be teaching this time, January 23rd, 2023. Many of you are setting New Year's resolutions to lose weight or to start again. If you've started a diet in the year 2022, 2021, 2019, and you've gone back to it several times, I've done the same thing, and you just cannot accept that it's not working for you, you keep trying, hoping that it is going to work, but the reality of accepting that it's no longer going to work for you is more painful than trying to deal with the root cause of your overeating. If you're in that stage, you might need a little bit more support. However, go over to the website and have a look to see if this is something for you. I've brought this back because dieting is rampant because of the cycle that you keep getting stuck in. Instead of starting 2023 with a new diet, start off with a new mentality, a new mindset about diets, that you're not going to do diets. You're going to understand why you go to diet so you don't do this again. So you find out how to do it without dieting. If that sounds like a plan, go over to the website and I can't wait to see you in January. I'm excited for this masterclass. So when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to weight loss, it's complex, but it can get even more complex when we do things that don't work, when we do things that don't work for us, don't work for our body, don't work for our lifestyles. Instead of getting caught up in all of those things, let us focus on the things that we can do. When it comes to weight loss, we like the familiar feeling sometimes can be a negative familiar feeling. That familiar feeling can actually be you're such a failure. The familiarity of the negativity that constantly swims in our minds. But it doesn't need to be that way. And the truth is, there are always things that you can do, and there are ways that you can make weight loss one of your New Year's resolutions and actually stick to it this time around. And I've put this into a list of 5 things. So let's take a look at some of those things that you can do right now to start losing weight this week. Number 1, stop trying to lose weight on your own. If you tried it, you've been there, you've done that, you got a t-shirt and then some, and it's not working for you when you've tried it on your own, then this is an indication that you need someone to help you. It doesn't need to be me. It can be me. But whoever it is that you get somebody who's actually qualified to teach you. Dietitian, not a supplement hun who is just committed or sees you as a number. You need somebody who's going to come alongside you. Ideally, preferably somebody who's been there, done that, and has come out on the other side. Even somebody who's actually regained the weight and they've learned to take it off. That could be a beneficial thing for you. I'm not going to speak for you. You know what it is that you need. In terms of finding a coach, have a listen to the episode where I'm talking about episode 137. And that's what I'm talking about, signs. What do you need to look for when you're trying to hire a nutrition coach? But instead of doing it on your own and you don't get results, how about having somebody do it with you to support you? Number 2, take back control of your life through a behavior change plan designed specifically for you. And that's where I come in as a behavior change nutrition coach. Now, this is a one-to-one approach. This isn't group coaching. This would be more on a one-to-one. vanutritioncoaching.co.uk/coaching is where you'd find out more about behavior change and whether or not that's for you. So like the name says, we're focused on changing ingrained behaviors. So our bodies and our minds tend to be creatures of habit. So we'll either be creatures of habit or we'll rebel against what somebody's trying to tell us to do if we don't feel safe in what it is that they're telling us to do. And I've been there so many times. Now, when it comes to changing those behaviors, it sometimes is about digging into the psychology of those behaviors. Now, we'll cover that in Ditch the Yo-Yo Diet Masterclass, but in one-to-one coaching, we're digging into the psychology behind your thinking and thinking that leads to habits. The all or nothing tends to be, well, if I can't do this, then, there's no point in doing it at all. That just breaks down into the, well, I've messed up my diet this week. I might as well forget about it now. Just go all in. And then I'll start again next week. But when you continue to do that, what happens is you are creating a neurological pathway in your brain where your brain then actually signifies thoughts of failure with that pattern. It's the same thing when you're stressed, when you're lonely, when you're angry, and you start to crave a particular food. You go to that particular food, then an endorphins are released into the brain. Then your brain has now etched that neurological pathway. So if you think of those little strip cartoons, imagine it with me. So you get stressed, you start a diet, you start to lose weight, you feel fantastic. You stand on the scale, you've lost 5 pounds, you feel fantastic. You actually celebrate with the foods that your diet says you can't actually eat. Then the endorphin rush happens in your brain. Then you stand on the scale a week later, then you notice that you've gained 5 pounds. In reality, what's happening in your body internally is because you're eating a lot more carbohydrates than you normally would, and you're also eating a lot more fruit and veg, your body's making it easier for you to start to go to the toilet. Then you stand on the scale and then you're like, oh my gosh, why have I gained 5 pounds? If the mindset was, oh, actually, I haven't done a number 2 today. Let's go and do that. Let me take my green supplement, whatever supplement you have, or a smoothie, or fresh juice in the morning can make it irregular. If you haven't gone to the toilet to release yourself, you haven't done that, the scales are going to take into account everything that's still in your body, even though you haven't eaten. Because you're not aware of that, you're not taught that in the diet culture, the diet realm, you automatically start to think the foods that they've told you is bad for you to eat is why you are the problem. So then that is started in your neurological pathway that's stored in your brain. And then your brain automatically goes and says, wait, what did I do when I felt this way the last time? Oh, I know what I did. I went and ate when I started to feel like this. And then it goes back to the freeze frame where you began to eat this particular type of food when you lost the weight. And then your brain started to release happy endorphins. So it's learning a cycle to go back to what is always done. Instead of doing the same thing that you've always done, expecting to get a completely different result, you have got to learn to implement habits, practices, skills, using the tools that will literally change the path of your brain. Now, I've gone really scientific here and I've gone really mindset coachy, and that's literally what mindset coaching and behavior change coaching is. But if you think of it in that stage, it's literally like a cycle. You start here, or you have a moment, you have a euphoric moment, and however you celebrate is how your brain remembers. But it's like a little memory check in your brain that when you do this, this is what will happen. And so your brain is trying to work with you and release those feelings. However, it doesn't always help our body when it comes to fat loss and when it comes to weight loss. So behavior change coaching is more about that. And when we're uncovering that, when I'm teaching you how to undo all of that, it's going to take time, which is why this is a 6-month coaching program. It's not 12 weeks. It's not 3 months. It's nothing wrong with that. 3 months is a minimum where we're getting started and you're just beginning to see results. But when it goes to 6 months now, we're going to actually start to see results. And then we're focusing on, which is why it's mindset, nutrition, mindset, and maintaining it. So we're getting into that pattern of how do you continue to maintain this? Now, in the maintenance stage, you're still going to get days and challenges where they're going to come for you. And you've got to learn how to undo that. And so when we're focusing on building those things and navigating through those things so we can take back control of our life through a behavior change plan that's designed specifically for you. So we're looking at what it is that you do when you're happy, sad, lonely, angry, those kind of things. And we're mapping out that particular plan. But it always goes back to those things in anything and in our minds, happy, sad, lonely, angry. Those particular things, trigger points, trigger warnings, our brains are amazing. And so when we're doing those behavior changes, that's what we're learning to change. That's what we're learning to work through. That's what we're learning to undo. Number 3, start eating foods that will help boost your metabolism and help you curb your cravings so you can feel energized all day long. In Focus on the Fat Loss and Macros Coaching, protein is king. That is absolutely it. Protein keeps you satiated for longer, as do complex carbohydrates, but protein is the most satiating macronutrient, and that can also help you curb your cravings. Curbing your cravings doesn't mean you need to cut it out or you need to restrict yourself from it. It just means you need to know how to navigate your nutrition effectively so that you can plan for that. And number 4, find out what's really holding you back from losing weight and making lasting changes. Now, again, this is seemed to turn into a mindset episode, but when you're finding out what's holding you back, it's about then dealing with it. We recently just had our electrics rewired in the house, like literally the whole house was shut off. And to top it off, we didn't have any gas or we didn't have any heating. It was cold. It was snowing. So we had electric heaters through the electric. However, when they rewired the heating, they had to turn off the electric at some point. So it was cold and it was snowing. Let me tell you that it wasn't fun. But the reason why the electricians had to come in, and it was several electricians that had come in time after time, one said this, one said that. And it was actually quite frustrating because none of them in the Christmas period, would you dare see yourself or your house or your family living without electric for this long? No, you wouldn't. So each person came in, they left, but the problem was still there. And that's similar to what diets do. You know, we go and get a new shiny new one. Someone comes in, has all the talk and it's like, oh yeah, love, yeah, this person's responsible, that person's responsible. Nobody's really taking responsibility. However, they just come in, they're getting paid and go about the business, and then someone else has got to come and do what they didn't do, which is why the electrics had to be completely rewired. Now, for any electricians that are listening, any of you that has husbands that are electricians, you will know the headache of rewiring a house in terms of electricity. So that came, they finally did it, and we finally had working heating because the heating got affected. You see how things are connected to one another. Likewise, with our neurological pathways and where our brain gets used to having a permanent fixture or this thing, it's like a storage. It's like a, you know, when you go back to certain memories and you hide certain memories, it's like that. It's going back to this place to remember, right, whenever you go through this particular feeling and your cortisol levels are spiked because of the fight or flight response to stress, then this is what you've done before. So let's go back to doing that. But however, that's affecting the weight gain. The output is the stress. The output is the extra visceral fat, meaning the belly fat around your belly. There's loads of different things that can affect it. So once the electric was rewired, the heating came back on. All the hot water came back on, which is incredible. But that one thing, that's it. The one thing, it needed to do a major thing to fix everything. And that's what it is when it comes to finding out what's really holding you back from losing weight and making these changes. That thing that's holding you back is affecting everything else when it comes to losing weight. And that's what you need to find. Number 5, get the tools you need to stay on track by creating a plan that fits into your lifestyle. Now, there are loads of things that you've heard. Without a plan, you plan to fail. A goal without a plan is just a wish, all of those things, which is absolutely 100% true. How can you feel confident to plan when your plans seem to fail? How are you supposed to take a step to lose weight when you seem to gain weight more than you lose it? Now you've been put on metformin, and you've also on cholesterol meds, you're also on this. How are you supposed to make a plan when everything seems to be coming at you? It is so hard. Here's how you do it. Whether you're on metformin or you're not on medication, some medications cause extra water retention and can cause weight gain. Speak to your doctor to see if that's you, to see if you can get on an alternative medication. Doctors are the best because they've studied it for so many years, every form of medication and condition. They are definitely best placed to give you a medication. Now, there are ways and there are people who decide to go nutritionally and actually do that. You can go and seek out an holistic nutritionist if you decide to do that. If you're somebody who is on prescribed medication that's affecting your weight gain. For those of you who are not and are stuck in the yo-yo dieting, Ditch the Yo-Yo Dieting Masterclass will probably be the starting point for you. Let me tell you a little bit about that plan and how it's going to work for you, or how you can start to use it. And I've mentioned it before, we're focusing on the psychology of yo-yo dieting. What's going through your mind when your body is physically going through the process of yo-yo dieting? Yo-yo dieting is a repeated cycle of weight loss followed by weight gain. The practice of repeatedly going on slimming diets and putting on weight in the interim. Now, this is literally why we go to this. This is what yo-yo dieting means. A repeated cycle of weight loss followed by weight gain. And that is the dictionary definition. And it's about getting the tools to stay on that. The psychological reasons why you keep entering that repeated cycle of weight loss followed by weight gain. That is what yo-yo dieting is. Why is it you that happens to? And sometimes it can feel like it's just you. It isn't just you, but it can feel like, oh my gosh, why is it just me? And also addressing what they do to your body, not just what you hear, what does it do to your body? Because there is a reaction that happens to your body when we constantly repeat a diet, we stop a diet, we start a diet again. There are things that actually happen to our bodies that end up making it harder for us to lose weight. So in the masterclass, this is what we're doing. So if you've been around for a long time, I've actually done this before, and this was a self-led masterclass. Now, this is a live masterclass where I'm going through this with you, and you will get an opportunity to ask questions live on this masterclass. vanutritioncoaching.co.uk/diet is the way to do it. The link will also be in the show notes below. If you have any issues getting to the website, then DM me over on Instagram or send me an email. support@vanutritioncoaching.co.uk is the email to catch me on. And vanutritioncoaching.co.uk/diets. Ditch the yo-yo dieting masterclass. Ever wonder why you can't stop eating and dieting? You're probably already planning your next diet. And over there, that's what we talk about. I outline on there the things that you'll walk away with. Some of the things are different types of yo-yo dieting, creating a sustainable plan for eating healthy and exercising regularly, learn how to overcome cravings and emotional eating, learn to identify the real reasons why you are yo-yo dieting, and get ready to get clear on how to break free from the cycle. So if this is you, I can't wait to see you Monday the 23rd of January, 6 p.m. GMT time, a live interactive masterclass. If you're not ready to commit, then this probably isn't time for you to register now. But if you are, we cannot wait to see you over on this day. It's going to be an interesting and fun time. Not all serious, not all doom and gloom. And you will leave with some recipes that you can start to put in the knowledge and start to put into practice. And that, my friends, is the end of today's episode. That is 5 things you need to do right now to lose weight this week. And friends, I can't wait to catch you in the next one. We are almost at the end of 2022. 2023 is going to be an incredible year. And if your goal is weight loss, this is where you need to be on this masterclass. Can't wait to catch you on the next one. Friends, we've come through to the end of today's episode. I hope you learned something valuable from today's episode and can put it right into practice now that the episode has ended. If you found value in this episode, do share it with somebody else who can also benefit from today's episode. My friends, don't forget to download your freebies over on the website vanutritioncoaching.co.uk and also be in with a chance of coming live on air with me to get yourself some free Coach Fridays by leaving your question over on the brand new podcast page. vanutritioncoaching.co.uk/podcast is where you can leave me a question and I'll answer it over here on one of the episodes. And that's all we got time for, friends. I can't wait to catch you in the next episode.